Imagine being in ninth grade. You've done everything right. You studied, you worked hard, you even represented your school in competitions. And yet, your own teacher has decided you're her personal punching bag. Now picture this. She's standing in front of the principal's office, tears streaming down her face, while you're the one calmly explaining how she tried to ruin your entire year. And in that moment, for the first time, you feel the scales of justice tip in your favor. If you've ever had a teacher, a boss, or anyone in power who abused it just to make your life miserable, this story is going to feel so good. Hit that like button, subscribe if you love justice as much as I do, and buckle in. Because today, we're diving into one of the most satisfying cases of karma I've ever heard. Ninth grade, honors English. That's when I met the only teacher in my entire school career who flat out didn't like me. Not just didn't vibe with me, not just got frustrated with me. She hated me. Why? Because I was an athlete. I played 3 sports, basketball, baseball, and soccer, and yeah, that meant sometimes I missed her class for away games. But here's the thing, I also missed class for academic competitions, math contests, science fairs, quiz bowl tournaments. I wasn't just the dumb jock stereotype she seemed to despise. I was representing the school in more ways than one, but to her, none of that mattered. The fact that I wore a jersey was enough for her to decide I was the enemy, and she made sure I knew it. Whenever we had long-away games, she'd double the homework due the next day. Conveniently, she wouldn't check homework every day. Only after game nights, I saw through it. Everyone saw through it. But what could I do? I was 14. She had the grade book. It got worse when it came to writing. I'd turn in papers I knew were solid, and she'd slap a 72 or a low 80 on them. No comments, no feedback, just a number. Meanwhile, my classmates would get 90s with their pages bleeding in red ink. I finally asked her, "How is my paper worse than theirs, when you didn't even mark anything wrong?" Her response still makes my blood boil. "You're only doing 70% of your potential. They're doing 90% of theirs." So let me get this straight. My essay can be better and still get a lower grade just because she decided I wasn't. Giving 100%. She even admitted it when I pressed her. And get this, she was the same teacher who recommended me for an advanced writing class a whole year earlier than anyone else. So clearly, she knew I could write. She just refused to reward me for it. The breaking point came near the end of the year. She offered an extra credit assignment. Go see a college performance of Antigone, write a 2,500-word paper, and turn it in with your ticket stub and playbill. The play ran Friday through Sunday. The paper was due Monday. Simple enough, right? Except I had a huge academic competition that Monday, the biggest of the year. I even had to qualify to get in, so for an entire week, I reminded her, "Hey, I won't be here Monday. Can I turn it in Tuesday?" And every single time, she said the same thing. "First thing Tuesday morning is fine." So I went. I saw the play. I wrote the paper. Saturday afternoon, saved and done. Sunday, I rested. Monday, I crushed my competition, took first place in one category, second in another. And Tuesday morning, at 7 a.m., before basketball workouts, I showed up at her door with my paper in hand, and she looked me dead in the eyes and said, "I'm not accepting this." "It's late." I reminded her of our conversations. She denied ever saying it. She told me, straight-faced, she didn't recall. I showed her the file metadata. Last saved Saturday afternoon. Didn't matter. She refused. Her excuses? Another. Student turned it in Monday, but he lived across the street from the school. My mom, who was also a teacher there, could have delivered it. I could have written it Monday night, which wasn't fair to other students. I can't describe the cocktail of emotions I felt in that moment: rage, disbelief, helplessness. Not only did I lose out on the extra credit, but I'd wasted $25 on the ticket, hours of my mom's time shuttling me around, and a whole weekend of effort. This teacher loved to brag that no one had ever gotten an A on her final exam. She wore it like a badge of honor. So on the very last day of class, she asked us, "What's your biggest wish?" I didn't hesitate. "I wish for an A on your exam." She laughed in my face. "Yeah, and I wish for $1 million and not to have to deal with you anymore." That was it. My breaking point. The exam had 100 questions, plus a 5-point bonus essay at the end. You know the type. What did you learn? What was your favorite part of the class? I flew through the multiple choice in 20 minutes, and then I unleashed. I poured every ounce of frustration, every injustice, every insult into that bonus question. I wrote that I hadn't learned a single thing because she never gave real feedback. That my favorite part of the class was it finally ending. That she was the worst teacher I'd ever had, and that the school was worse off with her in it. When the first hour ended, I stood up, the only one out of 110 students to leave that early. I walked out, feeling lighter than I had all year. But I wasn't done. I sat outside waiting for my mom, who was proctoring another exam. And that's when the teacher found me, tears in her eyes, my exam in her hands. She ordered me to meet her in the principal's office. So I went. She stormed in, dragged my mom out of her proctoring duty, and the three of us sat down with the principal. She started crying, screaming, choking on her words. She wanted me punished for what I wrote, for disrespect. But here's the beauty of it. For the first time all year, I finally had the chance to tell my side. I calmly laid out every single injustice, every trap, every unfair grade, every manipulation. My mom backed me up. After 45 minutes, the principal finally asked, "How much was that bonus question worth?" She sniffled, 5 points. He leaned back, deadpan. "Then just don't give him the points." That was it. I scored a 98 on the final, while the next highest grade in the entire grade level was an 81. She tried one last petty move. I noticed an early semester assignment mysteriously dropped 10 points, pulling my final grade to a 94.4, barely a B. I knew she changed it, but I couldn't prove it. Didn't matter. That summer, the school switched to a 10-point grading scale. Suddenly, a 94.4 was an A. Karma strikes again. And the best part, administration finally started paying attention. She was forced to get every homework assignment approved by the department chair. She had to accept emailed submissions so she couldn't pull the late excuse trick again. 2 years later, she was fired. Other students came forward with their own horror stories, and the school realized this wasn't about being a hard teacher. This was about a toxic person in power, and all I can say is she deserved every single bit of it. That image of her, red-eyed and furious, crying in the principal's office while I sat calmly telling my truth, that was the moment I knew she'd lost. Not me, her. And when she was finally removed from the school, years later, it felt like the universe had slammed the gavel and said, "Justice is served. Sometimes revenge doesn't come in explosions or grand gestures. Sometimes it's the quiet satisfaction of knowing the truth always finds its way to the surface." If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and subscribe for more tales of sweet karma. And tell me in the comments, have you ever had a teacher, a boss, or anyone in power who tried to tear you down and then got what they deserved? Because stories like this, they prove one thing: karma never misses.